Okay, so here's a recipe for something a little bit different, taught to me by UK chef Laura Pope. And it's for a cheese loaf stuffed with olives and sun-dried tomatoes made with Comté cheese. So, I hope you enjoy it.
And for the ingredients you'll need 200 grams worth of self-raising flour, a teaspoon of fresh thyme leaves, half a teaspoon of sea salt, some pepper to season, 3 large eggs, 100 millilitres of olive oil and whole milk, 100 grams worth of pitted olives, sun-dried tomatoes and 100 grams of Comté cheese. Okay, to start with you'll need to preheat your oven to 170 degrees centigrade. Then get yourself a large mixing bowl that's big enough to hold all of the ingredients, then pour in the self-raising flour, the salt and a few twists worth of pepper. Next, get your fresh thyme and run it through your fingers to get the leaves off, until you have about 1 teaspoon's worth, and then chuck it into the mixing bowl with the other ingredients. Then briefly combine the ingredients together with a spoon and then crack in your 3 eggs. Then pour in your 100 millilitres worth of whole milk as well as your 100 millilitres worth of olive oil. So you should be left with something like this in your mixing bowl. When you do, get yourself a wooden spoon and thoroughly mix all of the ingredients together until you're left with a nice smooth mixture with no lumps. So we're now going to prepare the rest of the ingredients, so get your olives and halve them all and then chuck them into the mixing bowl as well. Next, get your 100 grams worth of sun-dried tomatoes, roughly chop them with a sharp knife and then throw them into the mixing bowl with the olives. Finally, get your 100 grams worth of Comté cheese and grate about 3/4 of it into the bowl with the sun-dried tomatoes and the olives. Using your wooden spoon again, thoroughly mix the cheese, the olives and the sun-dried tomatoes into your batter mix until it's all combined. You now need to get yourself a suitably sized loaf tin so the batter mix will fill it about halfway. Then measure out some greaseproof or parchment paper so you can line the inside of the tin. When your greaseproof or parchment paper is in place, carefully pour in the batter mixture and then grate in the final quarter of your cheese over the top. So, the cheese loaf is now ready for the oven. You need to stick it in on 170 degrees for between 30 and 35 minutes, or until the loaf is firm, golden and it's turned crusty on top. Once the cheese loaf is finished baking, remove it from the oven and leave it to cool on a wire rack, and you can enjoy this either at room temperature or when it's still slightly warm. I find this recipe is best eaten purely on its own, or even better, when dipping in soup. And you can check out even more of my recipes by clicking on one of the videos coming up on the screen.